Today, I want to talk about what to do when you feel like a job didn't go well. I think a lot of us, we all pretty much take pride in our work, and sometimes when a job doesn't go so well, we tend to take it personal, and it can be a big challenge, especially when you're first starting out. So today, I want to talk about what my experience has been like when I feel like my job didn't go well, what I did when I first started out, and the evolution I've gone through as a photographer, and how I cope with feeling like a job didn't go well now. So I remember when I first started out, one of the very first, it may have been, I think it was like the second wedding I ever booked on my own, and I felt like the work was crap. I didn't feel like it was my best work, and a lot of it was because of the location. Sometimes we walk into a job and it's perfect. The lighting is perfect. Maybe it's in a beautiful forest. You can't go wrong. And sometimes you're given really crummy conditions that you can't do much about. And I remember at first, I used to feel like the results were all that mattered. And so if the results weren't as good as some of my other results, I would feel like the work wasn't any good. I remember this first wedding I shot where I thought the work was crap. I felt embarrassed almost to follow up after I had sent the client the gallery of all the images. And so I was too scared of hearing what she thought of the images that I just didn't follow up, which is not ideal. This is not something you want to do. And even if you aren't going to hear something you like, it's important to hear it. The truth really is important to hear. So I avoided it. And I never heard back from the client. I never asked her, hey, could you review me on Yelp, which is something I used to do back then. And a year or two later, I heard from her. And unfortunately, her father passed away. And she was telling me about how beautiful the photographs were, how I immortalized him, how meaningful they all were to her. And I think I took a look at the work, and after being removed from it a bit, I realized the work was good. The location was a little bit tough. It was very small, but the work was good. So did I learn? One, don't be presumptuous. You really need to ask your client, follow up with them. You don't have to say, hey, do you like the photos? You don't want to seem insecure, but there's also nothing wrong with asking, did you like the photographs? I hope you're happy with everything. Did you have any issues downloading the files? It's important to do all of that. And if you're scared about what you might hear, you're not going to do what you need to do. Moving forward as a photographer, I found that I became more and more comfortable doing the job and confident in my ability to do the job. Starting out, it's tough. And I think a lot of the challenge is learning the technical stuff and then also learning the familiarity of the job, like getting accustomed to all the different lighting conditions so you're able to make decisions faster. So when I go into a job, I'm more than happy to hear a client's concerns, to tell me about the venue, what the lighting might be like, but I know when I walk into a situation, I will know what my best options are right away. This is in part because A, I have really gone deep into the technical side of photography, and B, I've become very familiar with the job, and so it gives me a sense of confidence. So when I go into a job, I don't have that insecurity. When a job doesn't turn out as well, now I'm able to say, hey, I don't like the results. It doesn't feel like my best work, but my ability stays consistent. My ability to take all the variables in and then come up with the best equation of what to do next is probably very consistent. That's not to say I don't have on nights. There are nights usually nights, most of my jobs, but not always, where I'm on fire and every shot is killer. I'm hitting many shots per minute. Now, I don't gauge the quality of my work by how many images I'm able to capture per minute, but I shoot only with intention. But sometimes I'm able to get a meaningful shot once a minute, and sometimes I'm killing it. And that has a lot to do, again, not just with my ability or the flow state I might be in, but it has a lot to do with the venue as well. Sometimes the lighting conditions are great. You have beautiful white walls and white ceilings to bounce your flash off of. You don't have to get creative with your lighting because it's kept very simple, because you have good ambient light and good ability to bounce your light. So I want to sum it up with this. I would have made a video on Stoicism, but someone already did, and I didn't feel like I need to make a video on Stoicism, something I've been practicing for a very long time because someone already did a good job at it, and I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Chris Tucker. That's an actor. Something Tucker. You guys know who it is. He did a good video on it. But essentially, Stoicism is the practice. I liken it to Buddhism taken a step further, where you practice non-attachment. You don't feel personally invested in the variables, in the drama, in the things going wrong. You just take it all in and you accept it. But you go further by saying, how can I use this? So, a good example, if you walk into a lighting situation that's bad, you say, how can I use this? How can I challenge myself to get more creative with my technique? What are some new techniques I could try out in this situation that I normally wouldn't be pushed to try out? And so you take adversity and you use it. And that's what I do now. So here and there, I have a job where I'm really proud. And I say, this work is like killer. It's my best work. And sometimes I have a job where I just wasn't feeling it. And it's not because of me, but the truth is the quality of the work is usually consistent. It's just a feeling, that insecurity, or that you want to do your best. You know, I'm not really insecure as a photographer, but I understand you're not in control over everything. And sometimes the situation isn't going to be ideal and the quality of your work might go down. But the quality of your skill of a photographer should always stay the same. I hope that makes sense. I hope this video wasn't droning on and I got to the point. Some side notes about the channel. I do have that Patreon page and it is starting to grow, and I really appreciate you guys that are supporting me. But I'm finding it hard to keep content coming on the channel. And what I decided to do is, it's not that I'm a perfectionist, but I want to really make sure I have very dense videos that give as much information as possible. And I don't think everyone wants the more vlog style videos or the philosophical videos I enjoy making. So I'm going to partition them, and I'm going to start posting those on my Patreon page. I'm going to give you guys more insight into my day-to-day as a photographer, stuff that I think might bore other people. So if you want to check that out, you can still visit my Patreon page. I hope that will work for everyone. Thank you guys for your support. See you in the next video.